This is quite messy right now, but what I'm going to do, I've been making moss poles like crazy for the last, in here real quick. I've been making moss poles like crazy. I would show you guys the moss poles over here that I've made. They're staying on the wall. I have like big plans, but what I'm gonna do is I really want to, these are kind of some of my like neglected plants that I'm really wanting to work on. You guys who have been here have seen my plant room, which is all the rare plants and things like that, but I also have another room that, or not even a room, but an area that basically is the kind of plants that I had outside that just kind of I haven't been taking a ton of care of. I have everything from Cebu Blue to I have the Swiss cheese plant to the Rhaphidophora tetrasperma. I have 1,000 of those. And then I've got the penifolium. I've got so many different things. So I'll have to show you guys that. But for today, what I thought I would go ahead and do is, or for right now anyways, I thought I'd go ahead and, this is, I think, this is a Syngonium or arrowhead plant, whatever you want to. This is a Syngonium green podophyllum. So you can see there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do, and this is all just live time right now, as you can see, real time, live time. I made some soil, so a bunch of kind of crazy soil in there with cocoa chips and pine bark and a bunch of other stuff. I don't know, I've really been excited about doing all of these huge moss poles. This one I'm going to do, it's going to be kind of an experiment. It's going to be a little bit of a different moss pole. So I'm going to probably do one of those half circle, this is half circle moss poles. I really like that greater surface area. And I don't know if this is going to be the right size pot, but you see what size it's coming from. I was trying to find something that was a little bit bigger than this, but I think we're just going to go with this. And then what I'm going to try to do, one of the things that I read was a little bit better to do is to put the moss pole. The only thing about this, about having a smaller plant like this, or smaller pot like this, is that the thing's going to go here and that's going to leave very little room. So I think I may need a bigger pot. So that is something that...
What if we cut that thinner?
I thought about that, I might, but I wanted more room, right, because these get huge, and I have actually a confetti one that's huge.
So a bigger one.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so anyway, so usually what I would do, we did get some rabbit fencing that's all the way over there on the other side. I guess what I'll do is, the rabbit fencing that we got this time, and let me just show you guys some of the moss poles that I've done. Now the rabbit fencing, and I don't know if you, the one I have in the plant room, which is the Syngonium confetti, is standing up and it's super, I mean there's no drooping in that at all. And so I like when it stands up like that all on its own. Probably wasn't enough cutting, but I don't think I did. Let me test again. Well, I think it's fine. I mean, it's going to have that extension on here. Yeah, so you know what? We're going to go with it. So now the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go through here, and this is not going to be perfectly even, but I'm going to go through here and just start hole punching. And I'm going to do them maybe every couple of inches. You do it more than that if you want to, I guess. But you can just use a regular hole punch. You don't have to use this weird one that I got from something, I don't know what. And they don't have to be exactly perfect. I mean, that's kind of, I think sometimes we don't get started with stuff because we're too afraid that it's not going to be exactly right. And I think some things, obviously if I was building a house or like measuring a deck, I probably needed to be right on with that. But even with that, I think there's some room for error in certain things. But this isn't going to hurt anybody if we don't get the holes exactly right. But if you're a pre-measure, if you're someone that wants, you can obviously get a ruler. But all I'm doing is just basically kind of matching up the sides here to kind of be as close as possible. Like I said, if you're super particular, you could always measure. I'm not, because I feel like that would take more time. And I've already done one of these before. So now you can see on both sides, I've got a hole punch on each side. They're not perfect, they're a little bit off, which sometimes can create a little bit of an issue, but not a huge issue. Then what Ecky's doing is oh, and I think I've got, I got scratches and all kinds of things all over. So the next thing that we're going to do is I'm going to actually take the moist moss, squeeze it out, and then I'm going to put it kind of like I'm making a cake. I don't know why that music fits, but for some reason, I feel like maybe it's like an Italian cake. I don't know. So people sometimes think when they guess, my husband is Polynesian, Samoan, and Samoan, whatever. we have kind of a, anyways, Samoan. He, a lot of people think when they see me, because I'm Palami or white, and when they see me and they see my name, they're a little bit confused, which I'm like, come on, people, like, you know, people are married to people that are not just white, and they think it's Italian, so it's kind of a funny thing. So, and I think people kind of think sometimes I am Italian, even though, I don't know, I don't know, what do you think?
Well, I think you do.
Kind of pass a little bit.
You could totally.
I don't know though. I don't know, maybe.
I think you could.
So, anyways, so this is. I love Italian food, by the way. So.
I think I made that long enough.
Okay, now, so you see kind of this little cake here that I've made. This little bun, not bun, but cake. Whatever you want to call it.
It does look like a cake. That's
yeah,
funny.
it looks like a roll, like a loaf. A loaf. There we go. A loaf. So now the next thing I'm gonna do. So these are obviously bigger holes than I really wanted, but I'm gonna make them work. It's easier. The weird thing is moss. A lot of times.
Wow! Did that perfectly get that length right?
Moss is kind of one of those things. Oh shoot! No, because here.
I know, but you're gonna round it. That's what I thought.
It makes it
No?
more difficult.
Okay,
so,
never mind. I'll just do it longer.
I mean, I guess.
No, we'll just use that for
the
another
thing
one.
is if you do it a little bit longer,
Yeah,
I can kind of.
Yeah.
I think I can put.
Yep. I'll do it longer. Hold on.
Okay, so we'll do a little bit longer. So yeah, so you see here what we're doing. If you're just joining, we're basically making a moss loaf. I probably should go get more. In fact, you know what? I am gonna go get more moss, so I'll be right back.
We'll be right back. I'm sitting here behind cutting fencing, and it's kind of crazy. Yeah, this. I mean, we bought this fencing sight unseen, basically, because we bought it online, and I thought it was the same one. It was hard to find the same one, but
good deal.
Whatever. Oh, whatever. We found a good one.
This is a great deal, the best deal. I feel like, I don't know why more people don't talk about this, but this is moss, sphagnum moss that is very, it's like $5. What, like $5?
It's cheaper than anywhere we've seen.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's this one online that I've gotten, and it's super expensive, and a lot of people rave about it, but I'm just like, I don't see much of a difference. I guess the biggest thing you have to worry about if you don't obviously want little fibers, pieces, little sticks in there, I'm like, I don't care. Like, I guess I just don't, I don't know. I have probably, I don't even know how many plants. I know I've got probably close to 2,000, I'm sure, or something like that. Yeah. And I just don't, I make moss bowls a lot. I can make some moss bowls. We don't worry too much. I mean, sometimes it is a little, not even annoying. I don't even feel like it's not an annoying thing at all to me. I mean, if it was creating a problem, I guess. But I propagate out of the moss. Like, sometimes you'll see stuff like that, which that's kind of a little bit like, ugh. But for the most part, I'm very pleased.
Good. Yeah.
I'm pretty pleased with this. And so, so once again, watering the moss. You know, I actually, in my plant room, some of the moss, when I go to propagate and I put it in like little containers, I'll get the moss growing, which is kind of funny. But it will start growing, and I think it's the cutest thing. I love it because, and it will grow, and if you get it just right, it will kind of grow into green. Okay, so he cut it again, and I'll probably...
How is it? Good?
Yeah, I think that works.
Alright.
So I usually try to cut it about the size of, maybe even a little bit less.
Oh.
And depending on how rounded you want it, but I cut it to the size of that, but that's fine. The other thing that I have is zip ties. So we went to, you can get them at Lowe's, obviously. They're kind of expensive, if you think about it.
They look at us funny when we buy them, too.
Yeah, zip ties always kind of... so now, I like putting in my moss before. Some people, maybe a little different. I guess if you have less open space, it's a little harder to do that. I like to wet the moss because it makes it easier to work with. But I'm going to pack it up a little bit more. I can always squish it down if I need to. It's not a big deal.
You mean moisten the moss?
Yeah, I can always squish it down and put more. I'm probably going to need to put lots more. But I'm going to get this going because I'm excited to get it going. So I've got my zip ties. And there's lots of sizes of zip ties. So I just use the small ones. I don't even know what size these are. But I'm gonna start at the bottom, and hopefully you guys kind of move it over here just a little bit. Sorry if it's a little shaky.
You know, you can even go in one on one side. Sorry, I'm just saying, like, instead of going on the edge to like make it flat.
I know.
flatter.
I thought about doing that. I probably will do that.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to decide here.
I was just saying.
Thinking. You do kind of want to get the same. Now this may be a little bit off because the holes are not perfect.
Right.
It's not going to be perfect. It's like, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, oh well, life goes on. You know, it's like it's not going to be the end of the world if it's not exactly right. But sometimes it will be a little bit off and it will be a little bit weird. But it's like, who cares? It doesn't. You know, these plants, they love to climb up trees, and so I don't, you know, Syngoniums, you guys will have to comment. I'm sorry I'm not reading any comments if there are comments, because I can't, obviously. But the bottom is going to go in the pot, so I'm not too worried about closing that up. I guess I could somehow, but we'll so it doesn't fall out, but I'll think about that here in a minute. So now I'm just going to go to the next one, and I'll probably end up putting... So I'm just going to make sure that I go, what did I do, the second square? I did the second square. Yeah. Right?
Yep, you did.
So there'll be a lot of revisions here in just a little bit. But I'm just going to do the basic to get it basically stabilized to... Wait, so that one only...
The inside one. No,
Wait, I only went to the inside and that. That's okay.
Well, now you're going the outside one.
But this is that.
Okay.
This is.
No, you see how you're one in?
I am one in. That's one
that's
in
not
too.
one in. No, it isn't. You're about to do the end one.
What are you talking about?
So do the. No, look.
How about you let me do my own, okay? I don't know what you're talking about.
You're going around this one, so you want to go around this one.
Okay.
You were going around this. I'm just saying.
We're good, Becky.
Okay.
We're good. Sometimes he tries to micromanage me. I'll be doing something, and I don't know if this is married people life, but I'll be doing something, and like I'll like take a vacuum up somewhere. I'll be like doing something that hasn't been done in a long time, and then what he does is he'll take the vacuum from me, and then he'll do it, and I'm like, it's almost like that kid that like is like, okay, I gotta. It looks fun now for 5 seconds, and then. It's fun for 5 seconds, and then he's tired of it, and then all of a sudden gives it back to me. I'm like, why do you do that? Like, I don't
do that. I actually do the whole thing.
No, you don't.
Whatever.
Anyway, okay, so that's good. I kind of like actually having that second one.
Yeah.
I do, because I like having that because it seems like it's gonna
hold better.
Yeah, like kind of gives it like a round.
Yeah.
Around the.
I like it.
He's gonna say something like.
Oh, nice.
You see what I'm saying?
No, I like it. Like the wrap around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll go back and kind of tighten all these up here in a little bit, but just kind of getting it.
That's good.
And so we do cut off. It's better to use the smaller zip ties if you. Also, if you have long ones, you can use it. But we're gonna be cutting off those sides, so.
Like I said, we hate seeing so much just being cut off, and it feels like a waste.
Oops.
This used to take us forever to put together, but now.
Well, nice. This is my second one like this, which, I guess, you know, it's. I really like the idea of these because. And I don't know, maybe the pot that I'm gonna use is not gonna work, but I don't care. I'm all about trying to make it work. Even this rabbit fencing, I was like, ugh, it's not the same. But you know what? That's sometimes what you just gotta do.
Yeah, the other fencing we had was like thicker.
A little more sturdy.
Yeah.
A little sturdier.
But it's hard to tell when you don't have it in front of you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And then the big box store that we got it from before doesn't have it anymore. Which
is
crazy.
we went to Lowe's and it didn't. So this is kind of looking cool. I like it.
It's like a moss mat.
I'm gonna end up putting. Let's see here. I'm gonna end up putting. It gives it more room, especially for something that can be a little bit wider. haven't seen people put, I've seen like planks for the Syngoniums, but I haven't seen like kind of like a moss wall. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna try. And there's a lot of things I haven't seen with moss poles and walls that people, I'm like interested in seeing what the actual plant will look like. I really feel like, you know what, I'm actually gonna do this. I know this is probably, I'm gonna do it.
Close the bottom?
I am, because
it's gonna be at the bottom of the pot though. So
I get it, but I don't want it falling out, so I'm gonna do it.
Okay.
And I mean, you know, just trying something different.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I'll do it on every single one of those, but I'm just kind of, I don't want this all to fall out, so I'm just now wondering if I should
Do this, the double.
the second one. Guess the answer is no on that. I've seen a lot of people do some pretty creative things. I wish I had, like, I don't know, I think one day in the future we'll have something where we can, if we can't remember something or recall it, like we'll have like, I don't know, some kind of memory bank where like we can do like, and it comes up and then all of a sudden,
bank.
and then it shows you the website or whatever. But there was some video anyways that I watched, I can't recall who it was or what exactly, but they made like a cheap moss pole that was kind of like this a little bit, and they even had little hangers, and they went to like dollar stores for like the oven bottoms or something like that. And then it just was super, I think I saved it, so maybe one day I'll repost it or something, but it was just a super great idea. And let's see. Okay, so we're getting pretty close to the top here, and I'll probably end up doing, honestly,
More moss.
let's see. Well, definitely more moss, but I'm also thinking I might do more zip ties just to kind of, since they're, okay, now, all right, now the trick is, oh, I'm glad I put that on the bottom.
Yeah, good
So
idea.
the trick is, so like when, you can see here that kind of,
Nice.
so I'm gonna kind of like do this, and some of the moss is falling out, but that's okay. It's not a big deal. So what I'm gonna do here.
Oh, the nice thing about this too is like when you do poles, it's hard to fill it after it's all put together.
Yes. Yeah.
With this, it's like a bag.
I do like, yeah, it kind of looks like a,
A moss bag.
yeah, kind of like a,
Almost
reminds me
like
of something
golf
else.
clubs.
Something. But I like to have the moss kind of moistened just because I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like it's easier to work with, less flies around, even though all of it's flying around.
It looks really cool.
Yeah, it looks great. And I'm kind of happy with how fast, so I may go back, what I may probably do is I may go back and honestly, I can go ahead and put this in the pot. It's not even like, it's not like I have to have all the moss in there.
Right.
But I think this pot is not going to be, it's not going to do it. So this is the pot I have.
Oh well.
No. So you know what? We're going to do it. We're going to get, I'll get it. We're going to get, because what we're going to do, and the crazy thing is, you hear people all the time say that, you know, don't go too big of a pot, only do a size. I have different feelings about that. I think if it's an annual, or if it's flowering, super flowering, or if it's kind of a daintier, like if it's a vining plant, that you should not do too big. You definitely should go on the small end. Or if it's a plant that likes to be root bound, like Hoyas like to be root bound.
Too big?
No, actually, I mean, I know that sounds crazy. Well, I mean, that would be perfect for the moss pole, but.
Right.
But you know what I did? Here's the crazy thing, though. With the confetti, that's what I did. They had a tiny pot, and then I put it in a huge pot, and it went crazy. I was so happy.
That's absolutely right.
Yeah, so I think that I might actually go ahead and do that. You know what? It's a bit big, but what I was trying to say is, I think it depends on the span of the plant and what kind of plant you're looking at. I've had a lot of success with actually putting certain plants, especially like aroid or like, you know, like even Syngoniums, in bigger pots, and I don't really pay attention. I just make sure I place it far enough down into the pot that we probably might need a little bit more something. Yeah, if you can get, you might.
Just peat moss?
Yeah, peat moss and something.
Okay.
Yeah, 'cause we'll need more. So I have my dirt here that I'm going to end up putting in, but we are going to put it in this huge. I may do it right here. I think.
You got some.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do it about right here, as you can see. And this is a big pot compared to this pot, but that's okay though, because this is in much need of a.
I'm just gonna throw the pea moss in here.
Okay, that's in much need of a bigger pot, anyways. So sorry if I'm flashing you guys. Apologize. So I'm gonna go ahead and I love when stuff you recycle or you're creating something and it just you find new ways to do things, and sometimes you mess up. I mean, that's always kind of a little annoying when you mess up, but sometimes you can come across some pretty amazing things when you just try new things, and then you're kind of like, well, why didn't anybody else try that? So, and then of course learning from other people is a big thing too. So he's going and getting some peat moss, and then let me just show you something real quick. So this Syngonium it's been absolutely beautiful, 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 but it's kind of not looking the greatest recently. I like to save the roots a lot of times, but in this situation, I'm not probably going to unless I can somehow. And a lot of people get very like, oh gosh, the roots, oh no. I'm gonna try to save what I can, but if some come off, that's okay. And so all I'm doing is just kind of untangling these roots. Oh wow, okay. That was a lot easier than I thought it was gonna be. I had it in a pot like that, and it kind of fit the size of the pot. So that actually works out great because I thought it was going to stay circular like that and I was going to have to cut it, but I'm not going to. I'm going to just try to get it through the holes. Sometimes I will cut the pot. I'm getting on my feet here. And what I'll usually do, let me move this out of the way. I got this plastic mat right here from, I got it from Amazon, this plastic mat right here. It's a great, sometimes I should probably worry more about keeping, but I always vacuum up afterwards and it's not a big deal. So, I mean, obviously don't do it in a place in your house where, whenever I'm trying to take a pot out, I just squeeze, and whenever I'm trying to keep the roots, I just kind of like gently kind of do this, and then like I sometimes will keep untangling, and then I'll continue to do that, and you can see it's coming out pretty easy there. And I'll shake it. Just being gentle is the biggest thing. Almost like untangling hair sometimes, you know. And so I'm gonna put this down, and oops. So, like I said, if you're just joining, I'm sorry I can't look at your comments here, or I'm not seeing responding to your comments because I can't see your comments because I'm doing this. I've only got so many hands here, and I'm trying to. So, so most of them looks pretty good. Definitely in much need of repotting. Lost a root there. That's about all I lost though. This is pretty good, yeah. So for the most part, pretty good. And like I said, sometimes I'll cut, especially if I'm worried about if there's not a ton of roots, I will cut the pot. Now, another thing that I like to do, let me see, I'll be right back in just a second here. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll get a paper towel, or I'll get some kind of something to kind of block some of the holes, unless you already have the pot that you're going to put it in. But when I'm filling it up with dirt, like I don't want all the dirt to come out, so sometimes I'll just do that. You can do it with a paper towel too, is perfectly fine. I guess I could use the back side of this oscillating fan thing. Yeah, I'll do that. I'm all about recycling. Oops. Guess I might have needed that. Okay.
The directions?
Well, I mean,
it doesn't matter.
Where that all? Okay, so we'll use that. I like to recycle in this house. And then I'm just gonna like basically put it in there like that and kind of like tuck it down, because when I'm filling it with now I will get some kind of cash pot or some kind of pot that's basically like something to make sure that it's catching the water. And it's not going to be perfect,
and holding it down.
So you can see here, and that kind of just blocks off all the dirt when you're pouring it in. And now, okay, dirt. So we've got, and I like to use, I'll use all that. Sometimes too, I guess another thing you could do, and maybe I should do this with this. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? You get the, I'm gonna put rocks on the bottom. I think that's what I'm gonna do, because that will give this a little, since this is a bigger moss pole here, since it is a bigger moss pole and it's heavy, you know what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to get, do you mind getting the,
Some rocks?
Yes, and we'll do that.
Okay.
But he did get some peat moss, probably.
Is that also for drainage, maybe?
What?
The rocks in the bottom?
I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm doing it mostly to probably hold the thing down, but whatever, that works too. Every day will be good. And what I'm doing right now too is I'm taking some pine bark and Tanner the plant guy, he is got a lot of followers on TikTok, and he owns a plant store, I think in Oregon, and I like learning tips from him. He's got some really good ones. And so he recommended getting some pine bark because that's what's used in Oregon. Now, my thoughts about that, I did get 2 different kinds to kind of trial and see what, they're really big pieces. And so I don't know if there's ones that are a lot finer, but I have to break them up. Becky had this idea that, hey, maybe you put them in a food processor and we can, but there's huge, I mean, these are smaller, actually smaller pieces, but I go through and I have to break them up, the bigger ones. So there's some pieces obviously that I can't. And if you have arthritis like myself, probably don't want to be doing a ton of that. But yeah, so I basically, now we got peat moss in here. Usually I have some pumice or some kind of something. This might be a little bit too...
You want some pumice?
No, we need the ready chips.
Yeah?
I feel like, yeah. Those ready. So we just got, I always love my ready chips. I feel like I need to put those, I'll show you what they are. They're actually for reptile. But I like putting them here. This helps with drainage, especially with like
It was cheaper to get the reptile ones, but I think they're catching on.
Dang it.
The reptile people.
Well, I think it's the same price though.
Yeah? Oh.
I mean, I feel like it. I don't think it's changed
Oh, yeah?
much.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, because I wouldn't still buy it unless, did you see it go up? Maybe,
No.
Maybe it went up.
No, I don't think so.
I usually will I'll put the cocoa chips, we'll put peat moss, which we'll rid of cocoa peat eventually, and we're working on that. We're using up what we have. I got the pine bark, used to do just orchid bark, which basically pine bark is in orchid bark. Those are packages that you get with that. I usually do pumice, but for today I'm going to do perlite. And I probably could be a little bit more something because I do charcoal. Sorry, I'm just kind of mixing everything together.
Do you want me to flip it up a little? Some mixing.
So just to kind of give it really good draining, I could use a little bit more. So now, okay, so I've got that, and now the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to start taking some rocks just to kind of give this is just like from like a pot that I got from like something for outdoor, for some kind of landscaping outdoor, but I always keep those pots. But I'm taking some rocks, and this is going to give some weight to the bucket. Now, if you had a big old cash pot, which I will, then that's good because then it will kind of help to stabilize your pot. So you're going to have a big old moss pole, or moss wall, I should say in this case. But rocks are always great to stabilize not only the hole, but also to stabilize the bottom. I try not to do too close to the roots because I do feel like if you have too many rocks or a certain kind of rock, especially in southern Missouri, it can get a little bit, it can affect the plant, the health of the plant, and the way that the plant is. I've seen that with some of my outdoors plants because I don't just do it with indoor plants, I do a lot with outdoors. So I've got about a whole layer of rocks in there, and this is a big pot. So the next thing that I'm going to do is, and I'm going to make sure I've got this is a Lowe's bucket. I love these Lowe's buckets. They're so handy. Like $5. I don't know if they've gone up, but so I'm gonna go ahead and usually I mix a lot more than this, but I'm gonna go ahead and start pouring in, and I'm gonna pour just a little bit in there because what I'm gonna want to do is I'm gonna want to give myself enough room, and I honestly probably should start cutting. In fact, where is my scissors? Where are my scissors? Oh, it's over here. So I'm probably gonna go ahead and start cutting these. Sometimes I like to keep them on there for a little bit because if I decide to tighten it up a little bit, I don't think it's a huge problem if they stay in there at the bottom. It's not a big deal. So now you can kind of see what I got going on here. And what I'll end up doing that will be important is, and we can do this a couple different ways. I'm probably just going to put this stake in here just like that. And that will kind of hold it down a little bit. I probably could use a really tall stake, to be honest, but let me think. Because then, you know, I can always fix that later if I need to. So the stake's in there. It's not a big stake. I'm trying to decide if I want to do a tall stake, though. Do you think I should do a tall stake, Eki?
Yeah.
Because it's, I mean, I guess we could always add on another one of these.
Oh yeah.
Instead of having that, you know? Instead of having, like, because I feel like it's right there. Mm-hmm. So maybe, do you think?
I think that one's fine for now, but then if we need a longer one, we just like stick it right in. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And so now I'm gonna go ahead and take the Syngonium, and I like to, a lot of times, I like to kind of just wiggle the roots a little bit and get them kind of, because sometimes the dirt can get kind of compacted, and you'll see sometimes almost like hydrophobic a little bit, or you'll get, you gotta be really careful about hydrophobic if you have plants that you have watering a little bit. This one I wasn't taking the best care of, but it still was doing really great for considering how much care I was giving it. It wasn't terrible. I didn't have it outside or anything like that, but it just, I was kind of ignoring it, but it was thriving. But we're gonna give this beautiful, beautiful Syngonium, we're gonna give it a chance to do better. I don't know. Oh. I mean, they do. People put planks, so this is kind of like mimicking the plank. Oh. But like that, you know, the I mean.
You think it'll have aeroid roots to like connect to?
Well, it's got like roots on there, so I'm gonna make it basically I see. Do its thing. But it's already like, if you guys have ever seen this, yeah, if you guys have ever seen this, where you put a plant, you give it a little bit of love, and all of a sudden it starts looking different. It starts looking happier. It says thank you. I see that with my plants. I see that quite often with ones that especially ones that I've kind of neglected for a while. It's almost like they say thank you, and it's just a little bit. Then you have your calatheas and certain ones like that are just kind of. And I probably needed to have a little less peat moss in here, a little bit more airy stuff. So maybe.
Do you want some?
Let's see.
Do you want some pumice?
I don't think we have any pumice.
I think there's a little bit.
Oh yeah. So I'm just gonna put some more cocoa chips. I think I'm gonna like this better than I kind of amending the soil in the middle of mending it, or making it. Kind of mixing it up there. You don't want a ton of. Okay, so now the next step. So now what I'm gonna do is, you see that there is a big space here, so we're going to take the rest of the moss that I have, and I'm going to go ahead and just fill this in there. I think everybody, as an adult, you've got to have somewhere where you can be messy. I just think that's important, but like a productive messy.
A sandbox?
Like I do.
A productive sandbox?
This is kind of my productive sandbox. So, yeah. So that's good. Now, the next part, and I guess I'll put some charcoal. We like to put charcoal on there too, because it's a great filter. I don't know if it I don't know exactly what charcoal does as far as the filtering. I don't know if maybe just extra salts, or you guys have to comment what you think.
It makes sense. Like I said, it's used in water purification, so.
That makes sense.
It takes out impurities from the water.
But it makes me wonder if it makes it better, so then you don't end up getting fertilizer burn, or I'm just kind of curious about that, because
I wonder.
Sydney the plant guy, he recommended putting his moss poles, if you've ever seen any of his stuff, all the way down the bottom. So I'm starting to do that. We weren't doing that before as much, but just to stabilize the pot. That is so sturdy. Oh my gosh. That is probably one of the sturdiest. I am very happy so far with the results of this. So now the next thing, now this is not really much room, so I'm thinking maybe we probably should, I'm gonna do something that probably is a little bit tedious, but I don't care. I'm gonna do,
oh, you're gonna
it probably, see, Syngoniums will be very viney but for some reason, the one that I had in there, when I changed it and put it in a bigger pot, it's almost like it said, hey, we're doing this. So, but what I'm gonna do, for the heck of it, is I'm going to go ahead and just start attaching.
Taping it?
Well, I'm going to start attaching I'm gonna get some more moss in here. I'm gonna just start attaching little bits and then see if that makes a difference. To give it kind of some uniformity. But before I do that, I'm gonna add more moss because it's kind of getting a little bit.
This is one super-sized moss pole.
Yes, it is. But it's going to need to even be bigger than that. The only thing I'm a little bit worried about, if we don't do the taller one, is if it's going to be a little bit hard for that to come out and put back in. So, all right. So next thing. Now I'm going to take.
Oh, I should have. Oh, okay.
Where is the
Scissors?
They're there. Now I'm going to take. Now that I've got it all kind of, you can kind of see. It's kind of everywhere, but I'm going to take the plant tape and just put little bits. And we'll see if we can get this doing anything.
Wow.
So I'm not going to do it with a lot of them, but I'm just going to see. I don't know why, but I feel like I want to try this. Like I said, you know, it's not going to hurt to do it. It's whatever. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. If it does, it does. But just maybe to give it some more. So I'm basically taking.
You're gonna like force the roots into the.
Yeah. Kind of like that, so you can kind of see.
Yeah. Okay.
Now that could be very tedious, and someone on here is going to say, "Oh my gosh, what are you doing? Why are you doing that?" And I'm going to say, because you know what, I can, and I don't have to follow the rules on things, and you know, if this doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Or do something that someone else wouldn't do.
Yeah. So you see how that. And then I'm going to kind of untangle, and I want to see, the goal of this is seeing what this will look like once it gets kind of climbing up.
I mean, that'd be crazy to see it like kind of get full against the moss pole.
I'm curious to see what it will do.
Huh.
I mean, I've seen the plank ones, so that's why I'm thinking, you know.
I don't even know what that looks
like. They just have a plank and it holds it up and it gives it stability. So that's kind of what I'm going for here. So I'm just going to take, and actually you could be cutting.
Yes,
so I'm just going to take, and I'm going to cut maybe like, I don't know, 2 inches, something, or 1.5 inches. And I'll have him kind of cut that.
Sorry.
Well, I'm kind of doing this tedious process here.
I got the hard part.
Uh-oh. Got something coming out there. Okay.
Oh boy.
Got something coming out, but that's okay though. So I could probably go a little bit higher up because I think this will end up kind of bringing itself closer to the. Are the dogs still outside?
Yeah. Zaya,
can you go check on the dogs? And then I'm just taking out. Syngoniums are really pretty when they're full, and I'll probably spray this down. I don't know why my hands are kind of feeling like that calcium oxalate stuff, but it's interesting. What that's all about. You ever had calcium oxalate on you?
Not me.
So what I'm learning from this is that I actually don't need to do all the way down. The first couple probably would be a good idea to do that, but it's actually a little bit more helpful.
Just
to do
at the top?
Yeah. Actually, I probably need them a little bit bigger towards the top. That's okay, because I'll just use the...
oh gosh.
Probably want to get under the nose a little bit there. Today we woke up late. Probably needed to be a little bit. I was planning on being a little bit more productive. Okay, so it kind of looks everywhere, but that's okay. You know, it's still better than what it will grow its own kind of thing. And I think the leaves kind of get their own pattern and all that. But this will just give it some kind of stabilization. and kind of putting so I'm kind of putting the plant tape in different places throughout, kind of the bigger pieces higher up. And I'm trying to not put right by the nose, but maybe a little bit under. See what I'm doing here?
Oh yeah. I think that's gonna be good. I think it's gonna.
And I'm trying to put the ones that are like closer.
I think it's gonna look really full up high, and it's gonna be.
I hope so.
Crazy.
So.
Oh.
Yeah, it's weird. I feel like I got that calcium oxalate stuff.
Oh.
Uh-oh. Yeah, that's what.
You think Syngoniums have that?
I don't know.
Huh.
I don't know, but.
But you're feeling it?
Something. Kind of a tingling sensation in my fingers, but maybe it was something else that I used that calls out. And I'll probably treat this, taking off some of the leaves that don't look so good. I'll go ahead and treat this with some pest granules and Captain Jack's. Give it a little bit of. I'm glad I used this size. This actually worked out. I could probably even use a bigger size than this, but the pot. I mean, I had to use this size basically because of the pot. Even this size pot was really big, but that's okay because this is gonna look. I think it's gonna look great. If you can cut me kind of bigger pieces.
Yeah.
That one. Okay. So yeah, I know this is kind of tedious. Yeah, bigger pieces. Kind of tedious work here that we're doing, but you can already kind of see what it's doing. It's kind of looking a little jungly, but it's okay.
Is that big enough?
I think so. So if you're just joining in, I've got.
We just made a moss wall.
We just made a moss wall.
Or super-sized moss wall.
Yeah. And now we're tying up the Syngonium. And this is the green. I don't even know. Oh, it's the Syngonium green podophyllum. I think that's how you say it. And just kind of putting it here, there, and everywhere. Trying to get it as close to the moss pole as possible. So.
You know what it feels like, dear?
What?
Like you're a florist.
My mom was actually a florist.
Yes, she was.
She's really good at what she did. She's really good.
Yes, she was.
I mean, I know, like,
no bias.
No bias at all. But she's just different. She's an artist. I think she was just someone that, I don't know, I wish that she would have been able to do a lot more for herself. But,
She still can.
She still can, but sometimes, you get to hurting as life goes on and pain and all that. And in life you get achy and it's a little harder to do stuff. So it just becomes a little more difficult to do stuff. So, but
more difficult, not impossible. Oh boy.
Okay. So, like I said, if you're first joining in, or if you're just joining in, when I get really tired, I start messing up like words and phrases. And I think I've been not sleeping very well the last couple of days, and I've noticed that my speech just gets weird. So, sorry if I'm being weird or sounding weird. I don't know why I'm apologizing for that. Some of these smaller ones, I'm going to go ahead and kind of put them just trying to use up the space where the moss pole. This is going to end up being a moss pole that's bigger than this.
Yeah.
Really soon, yeah.
So what we can do is we can make another one.
Yeah.
And then.
Can I have the scissors real quick? I'm gonna cut
yeah.
this. So it's looking crazy, but I want to see what this ends up doing. You know, trying different things. Sometimes it will look crazy and then it will get into its natural. It's kind of like, you know, you have those pair of shoes or that shirt that like at first it kind of looks a little bit too crispy. And then, if you know what I mean by that. And then it just wears itself right. Do you guys know what I mean by that? And eventually it's almost like that wear in that like you can't buy. You just have to wear in. And
yeah, like they don't make it the right.
Yeah, but it's kind of like that. And I feel like plants are like that a lot. Where like they get to their own, and probably the most out of everything besides clothes, I feel like plants are kind of like that. You know, cars not like that. I mean, I guess you could wear them in, but cars usually you end up wearing them out before wearing in. And then, but yeah, this is definitely one of those things that it kind of once it gets used to its thing, it's kind of like, hey, I'm here.
Clothes are awesome to wear them in. But then,
yeah, sometimes
then you wash them.
Yeah. Well, I think sometimes though, if it's really good quality clothes, a lot of times you can you wash it into what you want.
Right.
And I bet you this has some calcium oxalate. There's something because
you feel it?
I do. I feel it. Something feels weird.
Oh boy.
So I'm gonna take on my fingers, even though I have gloves on, which is weird. But so I'm gonna take some of these ones that are kind of looking a little raggedy. And then, okay, so it's got some form, right?
Yeah.
And next thing I'm gonna do, just kind of make sure I've got everything else. If there's anything else hanging, oh, like this one. So it's not perfect, but it definitely is much better. And it looks a little crazy right now, but I know
it's gonna wear in.
It's gonna wear in, and it's gonna look good. And oh yeah, there's some calcium oxalate or something in here. Oh, there's something weird in here because I feel my hands burning, and I'm like, I don't think. You guys ever had experience with this? I don't know what it is, but I feel it burning, and I don't think I used anything. Like, you know, we have taro that like alocasias and elephant ear. They have the calcium oxalate if you touch certain things on them, but on like the. But I haven't been touching that, so I don't know. Okay, so now I have, voila! I have put up all that I can put up on here for now, and I do think.
Well, you put it all up like strand by strand on the thing.
Not every single one, but most of them. The big strands. Okay. I think it's good for it.
I think it's gonna look great.
Yeah. Yeah, so, and then some of these stragglers that don't look so good.
That we're hiding, like underneath the, right? The little canopy of Syngonium. So if you're here now, look at it now, and then we'll show it later.
Yeah, maybe when we'll see. So my goal, if you guys weren't here earlier, really my goal is for this whole. We have like stairs that you come down to our finished basement, and well, I guess that makes sense. You have stairs to finish to the basement, right?
No, most people have an elevator.
Right. We don't have an elevator. I don't want an elevator, but I wouldn't even if I was like super rich. I wouldn't even want an elevator. No, I'm claustrophobic, super claustrophobic, but
escalator.
Yeah, I like escalators. I like escalators. I like even better those ones in the airport that are like.
Oh, the walker.
The walker things. I love those. I feel like I'm winning in life. Not that I go to the airport or anything like that, but I feel like when I use those, I'm winning in life. I don't know. You guys ever feel that too?
That's only when we're dropping someone off and picking someone up because.
Yeah, we don't go. We're not. Okay, so now, it looks better as far as uniformity. Not perfect, it's not perfect, but I am proud of it because it was just like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's not It's not perfect, but it's got uniformity, and I'm really happy with the moss pole. And this is super sturdy. And I'm telling you what, this is going to be happy in this. I know it. I can feel it.
Yes.
I can see it. And I'm, right now, it's, I don't know.
It's a big pot.
It is a big pot. So now the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take the good old Captain Jack's. We get to concentrate. And I'm just going to kind of, sometimes what I'll do is I'll cut off all the leaves. If there's any kind of pest, I will literally cut it all down. I don't really see any pests in here. I wouldn't be surprised if there was something. But I'm going to go ahead and just spray it down. I'm probably not going to put this directly back in any kind of light source right away because, you know, it can burn the leaves. But this is great because now we've got it on there, and probably what I'll end up doing at some point is I will end up doing a higher pole here. But I know it looks just kind of like all everywhere, but it's going to look good. I promise you, it's going to look good when once it's all doing its thing. So, and then it's just going to take, so that's the care I wanted to give it. And honestly, I'm happy. I'm happy with it. It doesn't look, I mean, it's hard to see exactly what it's going to look like, but I think it's going to go into its own thing, and then it's going to be super happy with the way that it's,
you know what I think it's going to do?
can you cut me just a little bit more?
Oh, yeah.
With the,
Can you hand me this? I think it's going to be,
more.
I think that, you know how you have that English ivy or whatever, or the ivy that goes up houses and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to, it's like a thicker version of that,
Maybe.
climbing up this thing.
Kind of. I love that look. He does not like that, but
No.
I love it.
It's that scary movie look to me.
Oh, it's so beautiful to me. You can do,
Bigger?
no, about like that
Oh.
size. I guess we could, whatever. We can do it. We can do it.
Yeah, we can.
Okay, so. Probably need some more sphagnum moss for the top.
Yeah.
But okay, well, so I know that looks pretty crazy right now, but that's okay though, because it's going to end up getting its own. And I'll probably end up putting a little bit more dirt in the back because it looks like there's, well, no, it's actually very sturdy. But what I have a little bit of a gap behind there. I guess I could fill it with rocks or something, but I really, like I said, I think sometimes that can affect the plant. So when you have rocks in there, so I try not to, too many rocks close to the roots. So I try not to really do that much other than to stabilize the pot. But this is probably the sturdiest pot
Yeah, that's pretty nice.
out of all the pots. So, wow, yeah. And I think those really help. So, yeah, so there we go. There we have it. It will hopefully start facing, hopefully the leaves will start facing out. And hopefully they'll start doing their thing, liking their place. And then just the repotting alone, I think it will be a great thing for it because, you know, like I said, even though it came from a tiny little pot, I've had really good success with the Syngoniums when transferring from, when they're really big like this, transferring into a much bigger pot. So even though I don't recommend that for every single kind of plant, I do think that some plants like Syngoniums and certain aeroids, that works really well for them. So I'm happy I did this. We'll let it kind of put to a great place in here. We have an oscillating fan in this area. I'll have to give you guys a tour, but I just wanted to do this. This is something that I was going to do anyways. Oh goodness, I don't see anything wrong with my hands, but they definitely feel a little weird.
Oh, yeah?
So I'm going to go wash them off, and thank you guys for watching. I wanted to, and I'll show you, it's very messy in here right now. So let me take you off here and show you guys kind of what I'm working on. This is the project. This is the project. So it's definitely, hopefully I don't have it facing towards me, but but you see the oscillating fan we put up there. He's got some shelves and we're gonna make this look pretty crazy. I just did a bunch of moss poles over there, and we got some pots. I'm gonna make those all black or like maybe all gray. I kind of like, there were some concrete pots that were only $5 at Old Time Pottery. So I kind of like the gray look, honestly, and I may do that with all of them.
Me too.
And then these are just going to end up growing up. I'll probably take that one and do something different with it. But that's the goal, is to have them all growing up. And as you know, as they grow up, the leaves get more mature looking and they get lush and full. And all of these are already looking really good compared to what they were looking yesterday. So, and even that, like, it already looks much happier. And you see how big it looks. We'll extend this up here. I've got an orange tree here. So this is really all a work in progress. Here is a lemon lime ficus. Or, yeah, lemon lime ficus. Why am I looking at this like, ficus. And then I've got an orange tree here that is growing a little orange, you can see. Okay. And so these are kind of like and then I've got a pastas on them that I did. I've got a Bob C. So some of the ones that I've really been neglecting, This is not my plant room, but these are the ones that I'm working on, so you can see all the mess here. And I want this.
Plant room.
Yeah, I mean it looks pretty crazy in here, but this is really a work in progress. Doing
corner.
all yes, it's all kinds of stuff that we're going to be doing, and I'm going to make it really nice. It's just everything looks pretty crazy right now, but it is going to happen, and you guys are going to be so. I can't wait. Yeah, you're gonna be proud of it. So, but thank you guys for watching, and once again, I'll be back probably later. I can't.
Let me see. I got it.
So, yeah, thank you for joining.